All right. Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. It is Wednesday, September 15th. It's a 1:18 p.m. here in the Arizona desert. All right. Show's a little bit late today, but let's check out what the market's doing because for sure it's a good day in the market. As always, bitcoindailyview.com. Got more for you there. Check it out. Good little quote here on Twitter today. If it comes up, there we go. The government has a lot of pretend problems it wants to solve with your family's life savings. Opt out with Bitcoin. Good idea. Looking at Coin 360, finally a green day in the market, and it's pretty solid green. This is only looking at the last hour. So, I mean, Bitcoin's green, Ethereum's green, A is green, XRP, mostly everything is green except for, well, Solana, who's had kind of a bad last day or so. But it has been flickering green and red today. So I think its dump is over. We'll take a quick look at that. Looking at Bitcoin, we're looking at trading pair volume on all trading pairs volume on Binance, 24 billion last 24 hours. That's not very much. It's up 4.7%, still very, very low volume. We want to be above 30, preferably above 50 billion for a good day, but it is a good day. So what does that mean? Looking at derivatives for futures, I like to see 70 billion at least. Well, we're at 60 billion on Binance, not bad, up 4.3%. Last 24 hours, looking pretty good. Bybit here for longs versus shorts. Is today up yet? Yeah, so far today, we've got 23 million in shorts wrecked and 9.48 billion in longs wrecked. All right, looking at Bitcoin trading volume explicitly last 24 hours, only 3.7, or if I round it up, 3.8 billion last 24 hours. Really, that's extremely low volume, yet Bitcoin is moving up and so is Ethereum, and it's taken the market with it. No one's got over $1 billion except for Binance as far as trading volume. Looking at longs versus shorts sentiment, 54% long, 45% short. That's pretty tight. So I would say hardly a long sentiment as far as longs versus shorts on Binance for Bitcoin. For Ethereum, 65% long, 34% short. So definitely a long sentiment on Binance for Ethereum. Good news. This is wonderful to see. So on the daily chart, the big news of the week, big news of the day is the tangent for the MACD has turned positive, and that histogram is closing towards the positive. So that's a wonderful, absolutely wonderful thing to see. The daily tangent for the MACD has turned positive. Hasn't crossed positive yet, but it has turned positive. Histogram is going in the right direction. That's a big, big deal. As you can see, this upwards channel that we were on in the daily, of course, did get dumped out of, but we did ride that 200 moving average, and it does appear that we have actually made a nice bounce off of it. And along with bouncing off the 200 moving average, if we do a fib retracement here, you can see where we did bounce off a predictable fib line of the 382 at around 43,863. If I switch this to the weekly, let's see if our tangent on the MACD is positive. Yes, on the weekly, tangent for the MACD is positive also. So this is good. Weekly and daily MACD tangents are turning positive. They have turned positive. That's going to create a lot of upwards momentum. And on the daily chart, 200 moving average, we have definitely begun to, I'd call it a bounce. We're moving off of it, and that is wonderful. We were riding that thing way too tight, but now we're moving up. I like it. Looking at the 4-hour chart, as you can see, of course, Bitcoin did drop out of a beautiful upwards channel, but it did appear, it has made a 314 moving average bounce. So it got below the 200 moving average, but it did make a 314 bounce. It also did wick down a little bit past and kind of got down to the 382 fib line, as I do it here on the 4-hour chart, at around 43,863. So, and now, of course, on the 4-hour chart, something that I really like that I'm seeing is we have, it looks like we found, well, we'll find out, give it a few more hours, but we are above the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. Looks like we're going to find support above the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. So let's see if that continues, if we can keep support above that 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart, that's going to be wild. So let's see if we get a little bounce there and we continue moving up. That would be glorious. Looking at the 45-minute chart for immediate price action, well, we broke above the 200 moving average, the 314 moving average. We're looking good, and the ADX is at 35. You're gonna be above 25. We're at 35. That's good. Directional index is definitely in the green. Squeeze indicator shows upwards momentum. We're looking good. Stochastic RSI is beginning to it's gonna go to the bottom there and definitely turn back up, of course. So that's fine. We're slightly cooling off, and the stochastic RSI does show that. Lazy bear wave trend oscillator is definitely showing a bit of a cool off. So it does look like in the 45-minute chart, we're going to go sideways a little bit. Looks like 48,000 even is going to be a little bit of resistance that we're working on. But so far, the indicators look nice and strong on the short time frame of the 45-minute chart. And I think we're going to probably continue up. All is looking good. Indicators are looking wonderful. I am worried about this beautiful upwards momentum with so little retail volume. And also, if we look at, I'm going to refresh this. Even though this kind of auto refresh, let me refresh this on Binance. Yeah, 24 billion last 24 hours. That's just not much trading volume whatsoever. And then also, like I say, Bitcoin trading volume itself at 3 billion, 3.8 billion. It's just not much. And that's looking at retail trading volume. So this means that ultimately this move is probably most likely it's whales moving money, doing buys, and that's fine. Hey, whales buy, but I'm always hesitant when I see a positive price action happening, or I just see a sideways happening and I'm not seeing retail trading volume. So Bitcoin's pumping, but there ain't no volume to really support that. Looking at Ethereum on the 45-minute chart, it's broken above the 200 moving average. It's broken above the 314 average. Its indicators look beautiful. It's beginning to take a slight cool off as it would appear it is going to just continue up. HBAR, a rocket ship to Pluto recently. Its indicators are beautiful, but it's cooling off now too, probably because Bitcoin is. And let's see how it does. But HBAR versus USDT, this thing is rocking. For me personally, I'm just showing it to you because it's doing great. It never got below the 200 moving average while Bitcoin was very, very volatile, except for a very, very brief wick or two. Very, very strong. Very, very strong coin. Just to me right now, I'm not going to get in on that. It's just, I think it's too overextended. I like to get things when they cross the 200 moving average on whatever time frame I'm watching. This guy is just, I don't know, unless I have some confidence this is going to continue. It's just not really kind of buy territory. But I mean, gosh, it's just been glorious. That's a 4-hour chart. So it's a 4-hour chart. Look how good it's looking. Let's look at a 45-minute chart. It's definitely a strong 45-minute chart. It is looking great. Oh, and my timer is going off. So anyway, but actually on the 45-minute chart, as you can see, directional index is beginning to go in the negative direction. ADX is trending down. Directional index is starting to cool off. KRI is in the red now. Stochastic RSI is definitely in a spot where we could see some upwards momentum. Lazy bear oscillator is showing its potty time. So if you like HBAR, looking at the 45-minute chart here, watch for a retrace and strong indicators to return, and I think that will probably continue up. Solera, as we all know, it had some bad news recently. Definitely, it's seen a downwards channel on the 45-minute chart since then. But as I look at the indicators, it looks like we're beginning to see positive. Maybe we're seeing, well, I would just say that at least recently, we had a little bit of a perky action there in the squeeze indicator. KRI is trending down, stochastic RSI is cooling off, wave trend oscillator is cooling off. Basically, I think if we look at this heartbeat, this channel downwards, and look at the channel in general, and these indicators on the 45-minute chart here, I would say I think the worst is over, and maybe we're going to start to move up again and start to challenge that 200 moving average once again on the 45-minute chart. So if you're in Solera and you got, well, ass wrecked by the bad news, don't sweat it. I think it's definitely going to recover. Well, it's not very pretty looking on the 4-hour, is it? But once again, on the 4-hour, though, if we look, you've got it looks like your directional index is beginning to turn positive. Your ADX is starting to go in the right direction towards the positive. Squeeze indicator is showing some KRI isn't looking too bad. I mean, in general, like, well, wave trend oscillator, works very, very good on the 45-minute chart, and it's showing basically a bottom and a move up. So I do think that we've seen the worst of the dump. And if we haven't, well, we haven't. But I think we've seen the worst of the dump. Hey, yesterday I talked to Tino von Struckberg. It was an amazing chat that we had. If you're into, it's really about inspiration. It's about, well, World War II history. It's about being sane in today's crazy world with the media and all the stuff going on. This was a badass chat. It's kind of long, but it's top of the show notes. Check it out. I think you'll really super dig it. And, well, on a good note, I think maybe we're out of the whole buy the dip territory. I think Bitcoin's looking pretty good. So maybe you can buy the confirmed uptrend now rather than a dip, because sometimes buying the dip, you know, a lot of people say it's the greatest thing in the world, and I get it, but it can also just be a, well, short ride off a tall cliff. What if the dip never stops dipping? I'm not sure buying the dip is always so intelligent unless you know what you're doing. So with that said, remember, for every Bitcoin Satoshi you own, a piece of shit banker, globalist, garbage piece of shit cries. Take care.